thing, discuss possibly approve the minutes of October the 10th, 2023, regular meeting. Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Discussion. Any problems with that? Okay, call for a vote.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes. Okay, number 3, discuss possibly approve the minutes of November the 14th, 2023, regular meeting. Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on that? No discussion, call for a vote.
Trammell,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Okay, mayor's report. Mr. Mayor.
Here we go. All right, so got a little bit we'll go over real quick. Let's start with our sales tax numbers, all right? So, and then I handed you a breakdown, and we'll talk about that here in a second. So if you look at, do you guys have this? Did you get this?
Well, we got the
I'll
different one.
email it to you.
Yeah.
It's just a breakdown of what you have in your packet. So for the November numbers, we came in at 855, 746, and 83 cents. That's down 36,000 from last month. It is still up 17,000 from last year. So although this year's trend is kind of dropping, we're still seeing an increase year to year. So we have that to be grateful for. In the use tax, the numbers came in at 89,807. That's down $101 from last month and quite a bit, 50,000 from last year. So the use tax is down. When we talk about use tax, I wanted to share, this is a little excerpt from the OSU Extension Office on what is use tax. And it says, use tax is essentially the same as sales tax, but applied to purchases from out-of-state vendors. So if you buy something from an out-of-state vendor, i.e., I don't know, Buc-ee's, it's going to be use tax. It says the sales tax is collected on retail purchases from Oklahoma merchants. The use tax is collected on mail, telephone order, and internet web purchases from merchants who have no physical presence in Oklahoma. Use tax applies to the same items as sales tax. Vendor location is the key difference. It is a little known and widely ignored fact that purchases by mail, phone, or internet from out-of-state vendors are taxable just like the purchases of similar goods from your local retail store. Title 68, Section 1354.1 and following Oklahoma statutes, in 1998, the state legislature adopted House Bill 1816, allowing counties to begin collecting the use tax effective January 1, 1999. Title 68, Section 1411, Oklahoma statutes. Many city governments and the state government were already collecting the use tax. So does that kind of clarify use?
So what they said the other night about the internet taxes being sales taxes is not correct. It's still a use tax.
Use tax for this is dated 12/12/23. So obviously because I printed it off today, but it's off the OSU website.
So
Printed that off.
An Amazon sale, I mean, they have, their distribution centers in Oklahoma. Is that a sales tax or a use tax?
who
That
was
would
the
be-
vendor?
Well, I don't know that it really matters. I mean, I'm not saying.
It doesn't matter to me.
But
to
the
be honest
idea
with you.
is,
I'm just trying to
if
figure
they're,
it
I
out.
believe if they're based out of state, so I don't think it has to do with the distribution center, I think it's based out of state. So if you were to go to, like, example, Baumgar's website, the new farm store at the north of town, they're based out of Sioux City, Iowa. So if you bought it off their internet, that would come out of Sioux City. If you're ordering off of Amazon, it may come to the distribution center, but I
But
think
it
that would
could
still
come
be
from anywhere.
considered.
Can I get a copy of that? Just
Yeah, I'll give you
for-
one after the meeting here.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's all right.
That would be good. Yeah.
I'll even take you and show you where I got that off of. That'll work.
Oh, either way, yeah,
Yeah, I'll give you that.
yeah.
But
Didn't
again,
use tax also have something to do with if you were building something inside the city limits, that we had a tax that would actually, if you bought your lumber somewhere else, you would still have a tax
correct.
that
because
fell
you're
under use tax?
Using it for yeah. So we'll have to dig a little deeper to get that, how that breakdown is, but that's what the OSU Extension Office provided for that definition. It was pretty clear
Right.
for that. So if you look at, you guys have this formula to distribute sales tax. Not something typically that we've shared just because of the relevancy of it, but I wanted to kind of show you guys. This is, the date notice received is December 12th. If you look on that sales tax that we got in, the $855, $746, and 83 cents, you'll see how this is distributed out. So 0.13% of that goes to street and drainage. And it goes on down the distribution to capital improvements, the general fund, utilities, which is the portion we owe to MUB, the new bond for the police and fire. So 96,000 of that went straight to the bond account. The rec center cash fund gets 53. The new bond for the Main Street portion is the 10,694 or 696. I'm sorry. But it gives a little bit of an explanation. Division of the 4% sales tax is as follows. So our portion of the 9.62, whatever it is, 4%. So you'll see down there that breakdown, and I'm not going to go into all of that. But it also gives notes as to when those were added, when they were added to the deal. What I wanted to point out is, if you look at the general fund, so we may have gotten 855,000, but only 401,000 of that goes to the general fund. I hope that kind of clarifies where that's at, how that goes down. And so when we talk about like where did the capital outlay go, that's going to be that capital improvements, that 48,000 from this month went to there. So any questions on how that all works?
Okay, I heard something the other night, and I was trying to figure this out, that there were donation funds, I know it won't be on this, but then the donation funds were broken down and sent to different areas. How does that work?
So most of the time, the donation funds are earmarked for where they're going.
Right,
So what we've been working with this last couple of weeks is that we found some of those donation funds didn't make it rolled over. And so, for example, once we figured that out, the animal shelter, for example, didn't look too bright in what they had. They now have, I think the number was 70,000 now. So it was quite a substantial amount that was not rolled over when the budget came over. That was an accounting issue. It was just document paperwork. So we found that. So as we rolled over some of those funds, I think what we need to address is the review. And I didn't print off enough copies, so I'll just come up here and show you. This is the numbers. These are the numbers here that Colker gave the council the last time. You remember this little projection that he gave? So you'll see that through October 23, projected carry forward to next year was 820. The projected for November through June was a negative 404. So once we've made those adjustments that came in, this is as of today. Through November 2023, 1.1 million, and then a positive, so now we're positive 214. So a little bit brighter, okay? And then remember, we're only halfway through.
What did you do again to reconcile this between those
These
two?
were funds that were not carried over. So if you, I'm not trying to pass it, but Courtney can give you that explanation really where she found them and where they were at. But it was an accounting kind of a, but I think we talked about that in our department head meeting too, where several of the accounts got a little bit of a.
Can we have this?
Yeah.
Do you want this?
Or I can email it to you, whatever you want.
That'd be great if you could
Yeah.
email it.
So for the 5 months ending November 30th, if you go to, and you don't have this yet, I don't believe, the net revenue over expenditures for the general fund, if you remember at the end of October, we were at 18,000, now we're at 63 over. So we're starting to see that trend that we talked about.
because of the first of the year expenditures.
Correct.
Mhm.
And so
No, what is this again? Is this,
net revenue over expenditures. So
This is
last
November.
month, that was 18, before it was like,
okay,
I think, what do you have here?
I've got the
Go
October.
to page 13.
Yep.
So
That was the 22.
now we're at 63. So we're starting to see that trend. Some of those one-off payments care of and kind of behind us now.
Is she going to email those financials out?
Yes, I think she had a few little things to reconcile on the rest of the report, but that's just the general fund, so
You said plus 63,000?
63, 9, gosh,
No
this is
one-
why I have glasses now, I should be wearing. 63, 968, and 43 cents.
And just in general fund?
That's, yes, that's the general
Okay.
fund. That's all accounts that start with O2. So
Yep.
let me show you here. So when we talk about the O2,
Uh-huh.
whether it's, we can go back to, like here, this is the revenues.
Right.
O2 000 is always the incoming,
Uh-huh.
or we can go to the O2 201, that's the general. And you get like planning and zoning is O2 205.
Okay,
Mine is O2 207, and then, just real quick, I'm gonna show her how this works, and you can. So on this column, the percent is a percentage of usage from the budget. So, period actual, so for example, community development, period actual, in salary, that's what I'm not gonna say, because that's his salary.
right, right,
Good catch, Zach, right? Year to date,
okay,
that's what's budgeted.
right,
That's the unexpended amount.
right,
So
okay,
that, you can
okay,
do the math.
yeah,
That's the percentage of what's used.
right,
So if we're halfway through, we'd like these numbers to be,
Around halfway.
yeah. You don't want them, you'd like them to not
Right.
be over half, right?
so when we have something like that, then we look at it and we're like, okay, what's the deal?
Red
Why is
flag,
that?
yeah, gotcha,
But for the most part, you can see most of these actually look pretty decent.
Yeah.
There's a few,
sure,
like unemployment tax is up or whatever, but,
right, okay,
okay.
okay.
A
And
lot
then
of your
you guys-
insurance and stuff is gonna be different too, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's a biggie this year.
we found that the insurances were brutal, and that's one of those, until we get it,
And these get emailed out like every month after you?
when she gets them all finalized. Again, that one is just, she's wrapping up some stuff on it.
But
that's still-
remember, you're still 2 months behind on these two.
Yeah, so there's about 48 to 50 days behind, so you're really looking at.
So when you're looking at that percent, it's not really halfway
Right.
through the year.
So if we're in December, we're looking at October's numbers.
So
that's,
you really want it, okay, okay,
and so as we get through November, then you're about 50 days behind.
okay,
And that's gonna be year round, so.
okay.
But trends are looking a little better, except for that sales tax number for the year is coming down. So the answer to that as leadership is we promote shop local. You know, we really need cash registers.
Yeah.
And so as we've gone through, people have done pretty good, but we want to continue to promote
What
that.
was your total general fund expenditures for the November?
Do what?
What were your total general fund expenditures for November?
Well, let's see. Total fund expenditures, 611.
So they went down as well.
Yes.
Okay,
Everybody's been working hard on that.
okay, 611, 678, it's 60, went down 67 grand, all right, cool.
And so if you keep in mind, a lot of those one-time purchases were included in some of that, for
Yeah.
that month payment.
Thing that has to come to do the first of the year.
So as we continue to work on it, I mean, it's a group effort. And just remember that we're watching all of the accounts, primarily the general fund. And
Right.
Department heads have been doing a great job.
That training you guys went to, or that Courtney went to at least, is that helpful?
Yeah,
With
so
all
that's where like a lot of these things, she's been able to go in and find,
Find and catch.
use these different modules that the council approved us to buy through, Cassell is the software we use. And so when we did the budget, the council approved a substantial amount of money to go in and buy modules of Cassell that we've not ever used. Whether it's generationally not comfortable using or just didn't buy into.
Right,
But now that we've got, somebody who's interested in buying in and getting and doing and exploring, we're learning a lot about tax distribution, we're learning a lot about all these things, and so it is helping.
Good.
It's not gonna be an overnight thing, but we are learning, and so, it's nice to see that, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Even though it's not a steep roller coaster, it is a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel saying, the trend is going in the direction we want, even if it's a down month. So, you know, everybody will continue doing what they're doing and continue working, but I think we're gonna start seeing what we've been wanting to see. And that'll be that more of a positive than a downward.
Good.
Okay. Any further questions?
No, thank you.
Charles?
No, sir. Thank you.
So apparently we were right on use tax being the internet stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, that was confusing after he said that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, number 5, discuss possibly recommend council action to move $150,000 in the 2022-2023 capital funds from Fire Department Capital Outlay Account 444455422 to Fire Truck Reserve Account number 454555412. Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. Okay, you have that in front of you. It looks like we voted to do that back, when was it, in April or somewhere? And we didn't get it moved over, so,
And that's all that is. That account's just what we call our Fund 45 or our fire truck reserve. So that capital money, we just build it until we have enough to buy a truck. So I just want to go through the process or make sure that everybody's, if we did it a budget, it did it to council, just to let the ladies at City Hall just know that they can move that money over to that account so we can start building with.
right.
Right now, we're going on about 4 to 5 years to buy a truck, so how many years we gotta save up, but that way we don't have to get a lease. And as long as we're planning our fleet out, we should know, hey, we're getting 2 new trucks, I know, but 5, 8 years from now, we're gonna be replacing those trucks, so we're just saving ahead now, so we're not borrowing money. There's some other things that the mayor and I've talked about maybe taking some of that money when it gets to a point and putting it in CDs or something like that where we can make a little bit of money off it, but
Sure.
that would be something we need to sit down and with Lori and everybody else, all those powers that be, and bring back to you. But that's all that is, just make sure I can tell those ladies, hey, it's went through budget and council to move to that account so we can do it, and it's logged and done that away.
I believe the date up there on that 44, 445, 54, 22, up there on the left-hand side, 525, 2023, I believe that was the date council voted to do that. And it just
Well,
hasn't
this
been done
would've
too.
been- And we gotta watch, like, some of those too, they're in the last budget, so we usually get 150 a year,
Right.
so
And
that's
it,
the other thing.
it just hasn't been brought over.
And that's from this year, the 23 to 24 budget, yeah.
Did your other truck, how's it going?
They're saying April it'll be ready.
Really?
So that's one of those things, they'll say April and it might be a month or,
Yeah, but it's better than 3 years.
yeah, no, and we looked out there and, of course, I'm not one, I can't sit there and wait 3 years. You tell me to wait, I'm not good at it. I'll start headhunting a little bit and trying to find something, but no, that's all going good, so.
Okay. And if you're paying cash like what you were doing for that truck, it happens a lot quicker than if you're gonna have to try to order one and then, like I say, it's 3 years down the road and all this other stuff.
If we build up our fire truck fund, it's not necessarily, it happens quicker, but if something like that falls in your lap, you can execute on it.
Right.
Go ahead and say, hey, we'll take that, cut the PO, we got the money here, and bring it to you all to say, hey, that's good, send it to council, and we can cut POs for it, but,
Okay. And that's what happened this last time, so that was a lot quicker, wasn't it? Good deal.
Yep.
Good deal. Okay, any further
No,
discussion?
I'm good.
I'm good.
All right, let's call for a vote.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Trammell.
Yes.
Okay, we know of none, no unforeseen business.
Thanks,
You're
BK.
welcome. Okay. Mr. Mayor?
Got it on there, but it was kind of right on the gray line. And it's from the street department. The street sweeper needs a new impeller fan, and those are not manufactured anymore. So, this kind of came up over the weekend as we were talking about cleaning up from the parade. The fan literally looks like somebody took a cutting torch and went right through the center of it.
Oh,
From all the rocks and things over the 20 years. But he found one, it's in like South Carolina, but to purchase that, the parts that come with it's gonna end up being about 13,000. That's for the street sweeper. So a new street sweeper is about 300,000, 250, 300. So
But he probably has that in his.
yeah, he's
capital
good,
outlay,
but
yeah.
he's given the amount.
Okay,
I wanna just throw that out there that he's gonna bring that in. It'll be on the council agenda. But I told him, I said, if you can find two, you might buy two.
yeah,
It's still having two of those, but the fan itself, minus the brackets and the cables, the fan itself is about $5,000. And so it's not, it's not an aluminum or anything, it's a lightweight, probably a stainless steel. We're gonna look at seeing if, Elite Fabricators or someone around here could manufacture one for us, but still, he's gotta have it, because
yeah,
right now, so that led to the conversation of possibly a couple of years out, looking at capital and saying, maybe we pull the reins on some other projects and get some of that equipment fixed up and done. And so anyways, that's down the road, but I needed you guys to know that invoice will probably come through for about 14,000.
but that's something that needs to happen.
And that, like I said, that was like late Friday over the week, so.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mayor. All right, I guess I can entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second,
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. Call for the vote.
Bradshaw,
yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Can I get a copy of that for you, please?